Goeiedag, mijn naam is Evan, ik ben immigrantieprocureur here in America, and ik video help om immigratiewet te verstaan. Now, if you're new to the channel, please remember to like, subscribe, share the video. If you're not a channel member, consider becoming one because that helps support the work that I do here. And for those of you who've been watching the last few videos, what I've been focused on in the channel the last couple of days is really educating the American public about the persecution of Afrikaners, other people of white European descent, and other ethnic minorities in South Africa by groups like the EFF, who are, in fact, the government of South Africa. And you go back and watch previous videos where I've discussed about parliamentary governments, why it's important that even though objectors say the EFF and Malema are not a major political party, which they are, that it doesn't matter in a parliamentary system of government where at any time one of these parties can have a simple enough majority, form a coalition, take over governments, all of that, and how the current ruling coalition in South Africa is absolutely terrified, or they pretend to be terrified, although many of you have pointed out correctly so, that the ANC would welcome Malema back with open arms, if that would ever be a possibility. So we are on the precipice of a pending genocide, if not an actual, in effect, genocide of Afrikaners and other ethnic minorities in South Africa by people such as Julius Malema. So I will continue to make videos as best I can, especially looking at current events and news dealing with Afrikaner persecution in South Africa, to let Americans realize and to show Americans what is actually going on in South Africa. And someone sent me, and you can always comment. I want you to comment. I want you to tell your stories. Because if you go back and look at the last two videos I've made about Julius Malema, the EFF apologists and lunatics have come out in force. The racist, bigoted comments that you see are simply insane and terrifying. So I need your support to combat these idiots, these fools, this communist movement that is based on nothing more than racial bigotry and hatred in South Africa and is calling for an ethnic cleansing, a genocide of a group of people. So please comment. If you have something to contribute to the narrative, please do. And this is an example of what happens when you guys do contribute and you send me stuff. So someone sent me a news article about how Malema tomorrow, and today it's noon on Sunday, September 28th here in the United States. So tomorrow in South Africa on the 29th, that EFF leader, the commander-in-chief of the communist socialist lunatic EFF, Julius Malema, will be given a sentencing or judgment from his firearms discharge case, which I believe happened, in 2018? So I read the article, and I want to say, a lot of comments were like, can't wait to hear what's going to happen. Hopefully justice is served and he gets some kind of jail time or a fine, whatever it is. But I want to tell you that this doesn't make me happy. This actually just proves what a failed state South Africa is and how little the government really cares about protecting Afrikaners and other ethnic minorities in South Africa. Because of all of the nonsense this man has done, of all of the threats, and I want you to be clear, and I want to make this clear to all of my viewers and understand this, even in the United States, and forgetting what Pam Bondi, our Attorney General, said recently because she got this wrong, and lots of people will tell you this, hate speech, while morally bad and degenerate and horrible, is still protected speech. If you want to be a hateful SOB, if you want to be a hateful bigot, go ahead. You do you. Be the racist fool you want to be. That should be and will always be, if those of us who truly value free speech have anything to do with it, protected here in the United States. And as the United States is the most powerful empire the world has ever known, should be an example to other countries that are looking to have free and liberal democratic societies like South Africa. However, threats are not hate speech. Threats cross the line into what's no longer protected and to what should be condemned and prosecuted by the government. It is here and it should be in South Africa. So for whatever this charge is of him discharging a firearm, at the birthday celebration of the EFF or whatever this is, and his bodyguard is charged too, and I don't know a whole lot, I only found 2 or 3 articles on it, but it looks like his bodyguard is a white man, which I find hilarious because for all of his racist, bigoted rhetoric, you couldn't find a member of the EFF to be a licensed bodyguard and protect you. And also the fact that, and again, I'm speculating here because I don't know. I only saw one picture of two of them, what looks like, here in the United States when you'd be in court, with on your side of the aisle in a courtroom. But it's funny to me because all of this, as I've said many times, I think Malema and the EFF are nothing but chickens. And I'd use more, powerful wordage if I wasn't on YouTube, and I know that many people watching, there's even children watching. But, stand by what you believe in. The man is actively calling for a genocide. So stand by, grow a pair and say, this is what I preach and this is what I believe, so I'm going to do it. And I'll find someone within my own party to be my bodyguard or whatever. But I'm digressing. My point is to say that, so this is about them discharging a firearm at the birthday celebration. But this is what he's being punished for? Of all of the other stuff he's done? That would be like if Adolf Hitler was arrested for tax evasion, right? Something completely innocuous and unrelated to the horrors and the things that he did and attempted to do. Here is a man who is in the government of South Africa, a government official, an elected official, a leader of a political party that has power, that has clout, that has influence, that has been allowed to call for the ethnic cleansing and genocide of Afrikaners and white people in South Africa, that has said he's not calling for the killing of white people yet, and he refused to ever say that he wouldn't. So this is what he might go down for, if it's even going to be anything at all. Realistically, as I was reading, and I only found a few articles on this, and I'm not a legal scholar of the South African legal system, but they could even walk away with a fine on this one. So in the end, what are you doing? What you've shown, Malema, and the rest of the EFF, is that the serious things that they do, the calls for genocide, the calls for persecution of Afrikaners, are things that are never going to be punished. That they're going to be, condoned and allowed. And as I've said and I've warned in so many videos, when you allow that to happen, you pull moderates who in the past may not have been open about wanting to kill Afrikaners or other minorities, about wanting to be members of the EFF. You pull moderates into thinking that, hey, this is socially acceptable now, so now I'm going to join this party. And you have extremists who might have been limited by the fact that they were concerned about, fudge around, find out philosophy. Well, now, if I fudge around, I've found out that the punishment is nothing. So you're going to allow them and push them to do more extreme action. So, again, I just wanted to make this quick video because someone sent this to me. I plan on doing a lot more videos this week that are more in depth and talk a lot about, the goings-on about Afrikaner persecution inside Africa right now, and to make my American viewers aware of what's going on. But the fact that, Malema might face sentencing tomorrow for a gun charge, to me, really just shows that South Africa is a failed state. Because if this is what they're spending time to persecute him on, while he's calling for the murder of a group of people in the country, and that is not considered, something that violates the law, or something that should be, condemned, something that they should go after to do something about, then the priorities are completely skewed, and everything's just up in the air, and it's a lost cause. So that's why this refugee program, and for Afrikaners who are here seeking asylum, is huge for all of you who want to get out. And again, with AfriForums delivering the dossier about Malema to the Trump administration a couple of days ago, I believe the United States, and I've been pressuring the people that I know, my congressmen, individuals like that in government, the United States needs to step up and also provide protection for Afrikaners who want to stay inside Africa, whether that's an Afrikaner enclave, a cultural ethnic enclave, or its own Afrikaner state. I believe the United States needs to support that in the same vein that we support Israel, which is one of our staunchest allies, and I believe that Afrikaners can be that, with us as well. Because all the Afrikaners that I've met that are already here or coming here are contributing to our democracy, our society, our culture, our great additions to it. And I believe an Afrikaner state inside Africa would be one of America's staunchest allies in the African, sphere of influence there. So, again, remember, like, subscribe, share, put your comments, examples of persecution, anything you want to say or let Americans know that is going on in the comment section, and I will see you for the next video.